Again, the NASA system, 40 million credit card and debit numbers stolen.
On its surface, the International Space Station heats up to 120 degrees Celsius. The onboard temperature and humidity control system keeps the inside at the right temperature for human survival. If it fails, the astronauts stationed here would literally be cooked. And just now, a hacker has gotten hold of the system's software. He's not a hostile government agent, just a 15-year-old in his bedroom. He successfully gained access to 13 NASA computers. This teenager is a prodigy, one of the most talented young hackers the world has ever seen. And he didn't just break into NASA, he also hacked the Pentagon.
Damn.
From his point of view, he's just toying around. From the government's perspective, he's a national security threat.
Largest
Of course.
identity theft case ever.
Largest data breach in U.S. history.
That affected millions of people.
You know what's crazy about the U.S. government?
Over and over
They
again.
could just send a team out to put a hit on this kid and kill him and get rid of him, or they could fucking hire him and use his fucking skills, which is what I think they would most likely do.
It's the year 1989.
Because we don't kill
a
U.S.
suburban
citizens.
village in South Florida.
I'm reading a book right now called The Broker, and it's an espionage book about this guy named Joel Backman, who's like a Wall Street broker who basically is involved in like this whole thing with like these satellites that these 4 Israeli guys or 4 Pakistani guys make. They make some kind of new technology. They sell it or some shit. It's this whole fucking thing. Basically, he's involved with like insider trading and like all this shit. So he's like high up. He's like a puppet master with the stock market and money on Wall Street. And he's like invested in like the government and shit. Well, he gets put in prison for like all his crimes and shit. Then he gets pardoned by the president and they ship him to Italy. The CIA does it as a ploy to basically like dangle this guy out because he's like a national security threat. And they leave this guy out in Italy or whatever, and they're trying to see who kills him first, whether it's like the Israelis, the Russians, the Chinese, they're leaving this guy as bait. So whoever kills him, they'll know like what country that is like has the data breach or whatever. But he thinks that they just pardoned him and let him live in a different country for free as like witness protection because he thinks that like, you know, whatever. So he's like learning Italian and all this bullshit. And yeah, it's like a good like espionage book. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like 3/4 of the way through. But what I will say is in the book it talks a lot about like the US government, like the conversations between the FBI and the CIA, how they're talking about like killing him. And they're like, we've done it before, basically. Like the CIA, it's not a problem to fucking terminate like an American citizen if they compromise national security, whatever. But if it's just a regular like thing, like Americans don't kill Americans, basically, is like their whole fucking thing.
He is 6 years old.
Because it looks bad.
While
They
other kids are
definitely do
outside
that
playing
though. Like,
tag,
what do you think happened to
he's
Jeffrey
busy
Epstein?
inside,
He
glued
didn't
to the
kill
family's
himself. Come on.
computer. Mostly, he's just playing games. His parents are worried about his obsession. His dad is a programmer. At one point, he installs parental protection on the computer.
Epstein probably actually isn't even dead. He probably they probably faked his death and he probably slid out. Like, let's be honest.
But
That dude had so much money to pass
Jonathan
around.
just breaks through it. In his early teens, he starts reading books on the programming language C and the operating system Unix, a precursor for Linux and Mac OS. He studies source code extensively and talks to other computer enthusiasts. He spends countless hours in front of the computer, often until late into the night. One afternoon, Jonathan uninstalls Windows from his family PC, then installs Linux. No one asked him to. No one could stop him. His computer time regularly leads to arguments with his parents. It doesn't get any better once he gets his own PC. After a while, his parents decide to confiscate it. Jonathan runs away and says he's not coming home until he gets it back. Soon, it won't be his parents who are trying to keep him away from a computer, but the US government.
Uh-huh.
At 15, Jonathan has long morphed from curious preteen to full-blown hacker, one of the youngest and best at the time. Online, he's known under his alias, Comrade. Jonathan really enjoys messing with systems, not to break them, but to beat them. It's a power thing, a control thing. He likes the thrill of it. The tougher the system, the more it pulls him in. He goes in, proves it's not so secure after all, and moves on. He doesn't care much about the stuff inside. He doesn't steal data, delete files, or spread viruses. In fact, sometimes he does the opposite. He'll break in, then send a polite little email to the system admin. Hey, your setup's got holes. Here's where. Here's how to fix it.
Here's how I aced my midterm project.
Hey!
Beautiful shot.
I need to pay for YouTube Premium, bro. I'm getting sick of all these ads, bro. They always be hitting me with the ads. Cooking me up. Trying to watch some show and tell here. Oh, the unskippable bunk. Now we gotta watch this dude wipe his armpits.
Sweat. Go time. Big time. Sweat.
In the summer of 1999, Jonathan is looking for a new challenge, so he decides to hack NASA. More specifically, the agency's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. He gains access to 13 NASA computers. It's unclear how, and this time Jonathan decides to actually take something.
Okay, wait, this is 1999 though. You got to think about how bad like security systems and shit were back then compared to what they are now. You know what I mean? Like it seems crazy that he hacked into the shit that they had going on, but like at that time, bro, like it probably was a lot easier to hack into NASA than it would be today.
He downloads proprietary software valued at $1.7 million. It's the software for the temperature and humidity control of the ISS. In an interview, Jonathan will later say, "The code itself was crappy, certainly not worth $1.7 million like they claimed. The only reason I was downloading the source code in the first place was because I was studying C programming. And what better way to learn than reading software written by the government?"
There you go.
Just downloading the software didn't give Jonathan remote control over the ISS systems. Having the source code is one thing, but actually sending commands to a spacecraft is a whole different story. It would have taken more steps to actually access the system. But this hack is still a massive security breach.
You said that's only 26
When
years
NASA
ago?
finds out, they
Yeah.
have to shut down their systems for 3 weeks, resulting in damages of around $40,000. 2 months later, Jonathan takes up his next challenge, hacking the Pentagon. More specifically, their Defense Threat Reduction Agency. It analyzes and deals with potential threats to the US from nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. Jonathan gains access to a server in Dulles, Virginia, and installs a backdoor. Again, it is unknown how he actually pulled this off. Once inside DTAR systems...
Of course it's unknown how he pulled it off, because he's a hacker. He's the only one who knows how to do it. That's like saying a fucking crazy talented locksmith broke into a lock, and they're like, it's unknown how he did it. It's like, yeah, of course. If everyone knew how to do it, they'd be just as good as he was.
3,300 messages to DTRA staff. He retrieves 19 usernames and passwords of employees, at least 10 of which have access to military computers.
That shit said XQC Overwatch. It's because he reacts to this kind of shit.
To him, they are, quote, just harmless exploration. Law enforcement disagrees. It's an early morning in January 2000. Last month, Jonathan turned 16. By now, he has not one, but multiple computers of his own. He is well connected with other hackers, sharing tips and tricks. He also loves Star Trek. His mother comes into the room and wakes him up.
Jonathan, honey, the FBI's at the door.
They're here for him. They raid his family home and take 5 computers. They also take his Palm Pilot, some CDs, and his Star Trek book. Bold choice for evidence. Jonathan is questioned by the officers. He admits everything and promises to never do it again. Then he hears nothing for 3 months. And then the authorities press charges, and his life begins to change dramatically. Jonathan James becomes the youngest person ever convicted of violating cybercrime laws in the US. If Jonathan had been an adult, he might have ended up with a decade behind bars. But he's still a minor. So the US District Court in Miami puts him on 6 months house arrest. Jonathan is no longer allowed to use his computers in his free time,
Oof.
And even worse, he has to write letters of apology to NASA and the Department of Defense.
That's not so bad.
Later, he goes on
Just apologize to all the accounts you hacked, whatever. But no computer? Brutal.
for drugs, a clear probation violation. So he gets sent to a juvenile detention facility for 6 months. He's scared about spending time there with actual criminals. His father will later say that prison changed Jonathan. It made him strangely idle.
Yeah, I mean,
Looking
that's
back,
brutal.
Jonathan regrets the whole thing. What started as fun challenges ended with him behind bars. The thrills weren't worth it, not even close. From that point on, he decides to leave hacking behind for good. But not everyone believes him. And a few years later, his past life will catch up with him. Some viewers think our animations are made with AI. Our 3D artists, who spend countless hours building these shots from scratch, aren't angry, just disappointed. AI can be helpful with other tasks though, like research. That's where Merlin AI comes in.
Oh, the nice
Merlin
little
AI is an
shameless
all-new AI tool that
plug.
bundles the best AI models to all major ones.
The shameless plug.
Good ideas can come from anywhere. With Wix,
This is Albert Gonzalez. He's got a few things in common with Jonathan James. He was also born in the 80s. He too is a self-taught hacker. When he was 14, he also broke into NASA systems. And as a consequence...
Bro, what the fuck
he
has NASA got going on with all these 14-year-old kids that just breaking in? They opened the door and they come on in, brother. All these 14-year-old kids
got
just
visited by
fucking
the FBI.
hacking the shit out of NASA.
But that didn't stop Gonzalez from hacking. Far from it. We don't know if Albert Gonzalez and Jonathan James knew each other, but they had a common hacker friend called Christopher Scott. Gonzalez went by many aliases on the internet, but his favorite was Soup Nazi, a reference to a Seinfeld episode.
You want bread? Yes, please. $3.
In early 2000s, Gonzalez stumbled across Shadow Crew, a marketplace for trafficking stolen credit and bank card numbers and identity information. And even though the feds are having an eye on him, he gets involved.
I just couldn't imagine
In
having this kind of
2003,
pressure
he
on me,
gets
bro. I
caught
wouldn't
trying
want
to
this kind of
pull cash from
governmental
ATM
pressure
using
on
fake
me.
credit cards. To avoid jail time, he agrees to work with the Secret Service. Soon, he helps them bust a bunch of Shadow Crew members. You'd expect that his work as an informant for the Secret Service would stop him from any criminal activity.
Nope.
But well, in his view, the salary from the Secret Service is too low. So he gets back to what he does best, hacking. He sets up an elaborate scheme he calls Get Rich or Die Trying. The scheme will turn into one of the world's biggest cases of identity theft. It'll ruin his life. But Jonathan James will end up dead.
Damn.
This is Scott, who is both friends with Gonzalez and James. Next to him sits someone who, according to criminal reports, is only known as JJ. They're doing something called war driving. It's a simple technique. You drive around in your car and park close to companies. You only need your laptop and a high-power radio antenna. Once you're close enough, you check for vulnerabilities in their Wi-Fi network.
Damn.
Back then, most companies weren't exactly taking cybersecurity seriously. Inside Office Max, people are buying Post-its and whiteboard markers in 4 colors, gearing up for a meeting that probably could have been an email. Outside, Scott and JJ access the store's Wi-Fi, and through that enter its systems. Once inside, they install a sniffer program, which captures and downloads credit and debit card data from customers.
Oh, man.
Then they send the data to Gonzalez. He forwards it to another hacker who decrypts the PIN codes. Gonzalez and his crew don't just sell the stolen card info. They encode them onto blank magnetic strip cards and use those to pull tens of thousands of dollars out of ATMs. After the Office Max breach, banks were apparently forced to reissue around 200,000 cards.
Dude, that's actually
And this hack wasn't a
insane.
one-off. Over the span of the next 3 years,
You said, why you looking like a ballpoint pen with a black cap and a button? Bro, what are you talking about, Inky?
Gonzalez and his crew hack into several major U.S. companies, including BJ's, Wholesale Club, Boston Market.
Bro, I feel
Barnes &
so
Noble,
ass right now.
Forever 21, and
I
others.
love getting sick. It's
The
my
biggest
favorite.
credit card data heist happens at TJX. That's the parent company of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, and others. Around 96 million TJX customers are affected by the theft of their credit and debit card
Women. Not customers. Women.
info.
He said,
At
why
the
is
time,
Inky talking about
these
someone
attacks
looking
make
like
up
an
the
ink
largest
pen?
case of identity theft in U.S. history. The crew stole the data of around 180 million credit and debit cards. The total damage to all infected companies amounts to roughly $400 million in
Yeah, I don't even know
reimbursements,
why.
legal costs, and
I
forensic
literally just
fees.
woke up
There's
sick
a
this
major
morning.
break in a credit card scam that affected millions of people.
Experts say this man's arrest may lead to the kingpin behind the biggest credit card ID theft in history.
The Secret Service
Yoink.
investigates, and at one point, they realize that their very own informant.
Where the
is not
fuck are you
only
watching?
involved,
How a
but is the
13-year-old hacked the
mastermind
Pentagon.
behind the TJX heist.
Chest, feet,
Apparently I'm watching
and even down
ads.
there. That's care everywhere, everywhere.
Dude, YouTube ads have gotten so out of pocket, bro.
Family, Firefly.
Put a bookmark in it, YouTube.
Hershey's.
Get it together. Greedy.
May 2008, Pinecrest, Florida. Jonathan James is 24 years old now. He doesn't go to college.
You becoming
He
a
doesn't have
master
job.
hacker? No, far from it.
His mother died of breast cancer 6 years ago.
RIP. Sorry.
Together with his brother, he still lives in the house he grew up in. He apparently suffers from depression. Overall, he's living a withdrawn life and is retired from hacking. But today, he'll get another surprise visit. This time, it's the Secret Service. They raid the family's house, just like the FBI had done 8 years ago. They drew a connection from Gonzalez to Christopher Scott to him. They suspect that JJ is short for Jonathan James, and that he's part of the hacker group. The agents go through Jonathan's stuff. They find a suicide note he had written years ago, and a gun.
Oh, man. That's
We
brutal.
don't know if the agents offer him psychological help, but according to Jonathan, they don't confiscate the weapon.
Well, it's probably his legal firearm, so that would be
Jonathan
stupid
is
if they
shocked.
took it.
He swears that he has nothing to do with the TJX case. What's going on? On the subpoena, he's able to find some answers. He reads about this guy, Albert Gonzalez. Jonathan recognizes him by another nickname he used online. Gonzalez has been working as an informant for the feds since 2003. For 5 years, Gonzalez used Scott to pull off his
Why the
hacks,
fuck they giving him
while
glasses? So you
simultaneously
can
running out other
recognize him.
hackers to the feds to stay in their good graces.
You gotta make it where you can
Jonathan is sure
recognize
that
him.
Gonzalez is now trying to pin the hacks on Scott. And he's getting a bad feeling. He thinks that'll be a much more appealing target than Chris. It might not matter to the feds that he's innocent, even though, in his words,
A face?
Scott and
It would take
Gonzalez
too
are the
long.
most destructive, dangerous hackers the feds ever caught. They'll let them off easy because he's a juicier target.
A
That
facial?
would please the public more.
No, they don't give him faces
In Jonathan's
because it's
mind,
just
the
easier
picture was
probably to
clear.
animate. It's faster.
They need a scapegoat. Not Gonzalez, not Scott, not the one who actually caused the damage, but him, Jonathan.
That's why you don't
In
become
his
friends
words,
with
the
hackers.
feds played dirty. He holds these beliefs for a reason. There's this paper that has made rounds in the hacker scene, Agent Steele's Guide to Getting Busted. It's basically a survival guide for hackers, written by one who ended up in prison. Agent Steele's real name was Justin Tanner Peterson. He was an American hacker who worked as an informant for the feds while continuing to commit crimes.
Damn.
Agent Steele writes, "The criminal justice system is
Bro doesn't
made
like
to
the
be
blank
played,
face.
both by prosecution and defense. And if you have to be a player, you'd be wise to learn the rules of engagement." He makes it clear that law enforcement isn't always fair. They play dirty and will do just about anything, including lie, to win their case. Jonathan read this guide, and he knows that Gonzalez is working with the feds, so he's convinced he's going to prison, even though he's innocent. The first time was already terrifying. He doesn't want to go through that again.
No, I mean, that's terrible. Oh, yeah, dude. That's brutal.
On May 18th, 2008,
With the
2 weeks
federal
after
government
agents
after
raided
you,
his
you're
home,
cooked, bro.
Jonathan was found dead in his home after a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
No!
He wrote a note. There are messages to his family and friends, passwords to his accounts. In this letter, he also expresses his opinion on the authorities. He writes, "I have no faith in the justice system. Perhaps my actions today, in this letter, will send a stronger message to the public. Either way, I have lost control over the situation, and this is my only way to regain control. Remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether I win or lose. And sitting in jail for 20, 10, or even 5 years for a crime I didn't commit is not me winning. I die free."
I mean, listen, suicide is never the answer. But if you're facing 20 to life, for something you didn't do and you know you're going down for it, kind of puts a stick in things, dude. Like, that's pretty brutal. Like, I wouldn't want to be
March
looking down the
2010,
barrel of face to
Albert
life,
Gonzalez was
or
sentenced
20 to life.
years in federal prison for his role in the series of hacks. In the backyard of his parents, the Secret Service seized a barrel containing 1.2 million US
Just be
dollars
P.
in
Diddy
cash.
and beat the case? Bro, you'd have to oil up so hard to beat that case. Oh my God, you have to oil up silly.